Hi, I'm Jared Fry, General Manager of MeinaTV, and I want to welcome you to this year's edition of Candidates Forum.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Rinksmeyer, Executive Director of the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce, and we are once again pleased to partner with MeinaTV to bring you this voter education series.
The views expressed by the candidates in these forums are not those of MeinaTV or the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce.
All candidates in contested races were invited to participate. These interviews are meant to be informational without endorsement from MeinaTV or the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce. Please enjoy this year's Candidates Forum.
Joining us in studio now is candidate for the Medina City School Board of Education, Jeanne Pritchard. Jeanne, thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, why don't you start a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself to let the voters get to know you a little bit.
Okay, I am a lifetime resident of Medina. I have taught in Medina City school system, taught health and phys ed. I subbed before I got the job from Mr. Rios, who was my principal in junior high and high school. And then I've coached, been advisor to student council, and let me think, I think everyone knows I'm a golfer. But, you know, probably some of the most rewarding experiences have been with the golf team. So my mom is going to turn 90 this year, so some of my time is spent with her, but she has done well, you know, being on her own, and that's the way she wants to be, so I'm happy for that. So, but yeah, I've seen Medina change in so many different ways, having lived here my entire life. Started out on a farm on Marks Road, and then we moved to the city after my father retired, so it's been an experience.
A good one at that. And now as far as, discuss a little bit what you see the role of the school board being, to kind of explain it for our voters.
What I see the role of the school board is to let the people that they've hired, the superintendent and the treasurer, the only two official people that we hire, everyone else is hired by the superintendent, let them do their job. I think ours is for support, to overall look at the school and the finances. I think that's the big part of the school board, but not to get into the day-to-day management of the school or any school. I believe that if you hire the right people, then the right things are going to happen for the school and for the kids.
Now, how would you rate, you talked about your experience with the district. How do you think that plays in as your role if you're elected to the school board?
You know, I was union president for 3 years, and we did a type of bargaining called win-win, and that's kind of the person I am. I want to see both sides walk away if there's a disagreement and they feel positive of what happened. And I think some of that experience, some of the things we maybe used to do, and I know technology has moved us to a new generation, but you know, I think the fact that I know many things about the district, the people in it, the kids, I understand the diversity or lack thereof. So, I mean, I think that's a real positive that I've been here and know what's going on.
So how would you see, how do you play that line of course you come in, if you're elected to the school board, things you want to accomplish, how do you handle that relationship with what you would like to see done and what you would like, your representatives would like to see you accomplish? How do you balance that?
You know, I've already gotten a couple questions on one of the programs that I would like to see happen. You know, I'm not going to try to add anything that's going to cost money to the budget, but, you know, I'm going to listen to the people, but if there is something that I really feel that is important, like the safety of the kids, I'm going to stand up for that. I just think that's something we have to do. And that's our major job, making sure that staff and students are safe.
Now, is there anything in particular that, you know, kind of is at the top of your list that you'd like to see accomplished if elected during your term?
I would like to see internships start earlier. The city of Medina has done a wonderful job bringing new businesses in, but at the same time that sometimes takes tax abatement and it hurts us and the Career Center. But one of the things I like to see them add is giving kids internships when they come in. I think that is one of the big things that I would just like to see. I know that Mrs. Fedorenko over at Heritage has done a great job starting some of those programs. That's one thing. And the other one that I really am interested in is a second grade water safety program. Barberton Schools is doing it. They've done it successfully. And what it is, it's water safety. I grew up and I can remember 3 or 4 kids dying. Their parents left them alone for a minute and they fell in a pond or fell in the pool. And this isn't necessarily going to teach them to swim, but it's going to teach them to be safe. In fact, when I was walking the homecoming parade, one of the people that I've known for a long time said that she had to save her 6-year-old grandson this year who fell in. And I think people overlook that. And also it's a good, safe sport if you're not afraid of the water.
Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier in one of your answers trying to stay out of the day-to-day of the district and look at the whole. Well, sometimes you'll have issues come up, and one of the controversial issues right now is, of course, mask mandates within the building. How would you see, of course, that's kind of a day-to-day now with how they do the cases, but how do you approach something, a topic like that, and what is your stance on that?
I don't see that masks don't work. I mean, I think that when I just saw that Root is now off the mask mandate, it is something that I think that I would take the superintendent's word. I mean, the people in the trenches who are there day by day know what's going on. And that's how I would look at that. But, you mask, the number goes down. You unmask, the number goes up. I don't think there's any poison in the masks. I think they're safe. And until everyone can get vaccinated, if that's their choice to get vaccinated, I think that's a safety precaution that we need. And I would support the superintendent in what he would recommend.
What would be your best, because again, this is a controversial issue no matter which side of it you're on. Again, going back to your constituents, of course, they're going to be split on issues like that. And even if we talk about bond issues or things like that, people are going to be split. How do you handle that split with your constituents?
I think you try to educate them, and I know the mask issue is one that I don't think you're going to win. I mean, quite honestly, there are 2 different viewpoints, and that's just the way it is. But I think in bond issues or levies, especially levies, that the home value for the constituents is going up if we take good care of our schools. I think everyone wants Medina to be one of the top 10 schools in the state of Ohio. And that does cost some money. And I think that you just go out and you try to educate the voters the best that you can, whether it's by small groups, and hopefully when it comes to that, we'll be able to get together in small groups to give them the facts. But you're always going to have people that are going to vote no. That's just their way. But I think with proper education, the proper campaign, I think we can move forward.
And that's an interesting thing, too. They look at school funding. It's been something that's been looked at for years upon years upon years about how it's, if it's done right or not done right. How do you look at that as far as moving forward with a levy or a bond issue? And do you think the district will need one soon?
I think that right now Mr. Chambers is going to try to get us through the next 2 to 3 years without having to put a levy up. I think what people fail to realize, the state just passed their budget and signed by Governor DeWine. The state says that it costs $6,100 to educate a child in a public setting, public school setting. However, they only pay us 30% of that $6,100 because we're considered an affluent district. So that is a little bit over $1,800. But if you go to a charter or online school, they will pay them $7,500. Now, the only plus that we got out of the new budget was, instead of taking that money from us and sending it to the state is paying the school directly $7,500, and they're giving their parents tax credits. So if the voters understand that, they'll understand where we're coming from. We make up the difference from $1,800 to $6,100. And if it costs us more, then that's additional. So you know, I do see a levy is going to be in our future. A bond issue, I've read the Ohio facilities report that they did. I'm not really sure what a bond issue would look like. I know some of our buildings are aging, but you look at Garfield and it's a great building. I just think this year I know we're going to look at redistricting and maybe reconfiguration of buildings. I think that is our chance to see what we can do with the existing buildings before we do anything. And I think we owe that to the voters to try to use what we have before we go to them for any additional buildings.
And that was great. You led me right into my next question. Redistricting, another big topic that the board's looking at. What are your thoughts there as far as moving and closing or reallocating where these schools are used?
Yeah, I am very intrigued with the route becoming 5-6 and Claggett becoming 7-8. I think that's a really good concept because I think they're those two grades put together are matched pretty evenly as far as the developmental growth and everything. I would not like to see wholesale changes, but Garfield only has 250 kids in it. We have to be able to do something to bring more kids into that. And I would like to see, you know, like Waite is pretty much all the kids coming from the Fox Meadow area and out there. More, you know, closer knit schools with the community as far as the Garfield kids are all within walking distance of Garfield. I think, you know, I was a country kid. We got bused to Garfield, but that was okay. I mean, everybody got there, and then they split, and we went to half the class went to Canavan, and they were that way. But now I think we're just, you know, moving kids kind of all over. And when we split, I hope we split with diversity in mind. I think it's really important that all kids get to see kids that are not like them. And the same thing with diversity in hiring so much. It's, you know, it's amazing out there. I know, you know, people think we're a really rich district, but we're not. But I think if we do this correctly, it'll be great. But we have to get the community involved. And no matter what, people are going to be upset because their kid might have to move. But I talked to one voter who said that their kids moved 3 times in 3 years, and they thought it was the greatest experience because they were exposed to so many different kids. And you know, so I think we have to look at the positive. You're going to make new friends. You're never going to lose the old ones. And at some point, you're going to be back together in 5, 6, 7, 8, and then at the high school.
I'm joined by Jeanne Pritchard, one of 6 candidates open for the 3 seats on the Medina City School Board of Education. Jeanne, I appreciate you answering all the questions I had for you today, but I want to turn it over to you now and give you the opportunity. If there's something I may have missed or something you would like to tell the voters, I'd like to give you that opportunity now.
Well, thank you. And again, I'd like to thank you and the Chamber for doing this. You know, as I said, I've lived here my entire life. I've loved working in the school system. I loved working with kids. My aunt was a kindergarten teacher out at Buckeye, and she was the one who really got me interested in teaching, and it has been a love affair with education ever since. So I hope you vote for me. I will do everything I can to protect the students and staff and listen to all your concerns. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeanne, and thank you for being a part of the election process and throwing your name in the ring. That's kind of what keeps things going in the political process, is people stepping up and doing that. So we appreciate you doing that, and we wish you the best of luck this November.
Thank you.